Now here is a big one. Ganbare Goemon Katakuri Dochu kicks off the Goemon series properly, and it's the first Famicom cart that's 2 megabits in size. Technically, there's an arcade game that precedes this called Mr. Goemon, but it was really the Famicom games that made this series take off. And I really like Goemon. The Super Famicom games in particular are some of my favorites. Goemon was a thief in the Sengoku period, and thanks to an assassination attempt on one of the more well-known warlords, Goemon became a popular mythic character. He fit into that mold of an outlaw standing up for the common man, and it's commonly said that he would rob from the rich and give to the poor. His life and dramatic death became major cultural touchstones for Japan. Konami's game series about him often takes a comedic tone, but not yet. This first game has a relatively straightforward Sengoku-era setting. Please ignore the Oni and the Tengu. The title Ganbare Goemon Katakuri Dochu can be translated as Go for it, Goemon, Katakuri Trek. I think the Katakuri in this case is the fictional region that he's supposed to be traveling through. Katakuri are clockwork toys from that same period, and it's not like we see any of them in the game. The story of Ganbare Goemon is that there's an evil daimyo who's oppressing the people, and it's up to Goemon to confront him. To get to him, you'll need to make your way through 13 stages, and most of these stages have a checkpoint at the end. So your goal is to collect 3 passes, which will let you get through the checkpoint. There are 3 places that you can get passes. First, some stores will sell them. A lot of stages will only have 2 passes that you can pick up, so you will need to visit shops and buy them. Second, they can be found in these mazes. Some of the shops will let you pay to go inside these mazes, and there's 1 pass along with plenty of other treasure inside them. The exit to the mazes are these double doors, so don't go through them until you have the pass, otherwise you'll have to pay to get in again. The final place that you can find passes are in the underground tunnels. They'll just be sitting on the ground in them. The trick is that the underground tunnels are invisible. You can reveal them by jumping in the correct spot, or if you purchase a candle from a store. So it seems like it's not as bad as other games that require you to find invisible things. But the candles aren't available on every stage, and passes from the tunnels are always required. As you might expect, there are a lot of things that you can collect to help you on your way. In the outside areas, you can jump over vases and packages, and sometimes they'll just release money, but sometimes they'll release these sandals. You can collect up to 3 of them, and they'll each increase your speed and jump distance. And that jump distance is very helpful when looking for hidden tunnels. There are also these cats that you can collect, which will give Goemon a slingshot. That turns his short-range pipe attack into a long-ranged weapon. Also on the outside, you can sometimes find this hammer that will turn you invincible for a few seconds. There are a lot more things that you can buy in shops than you can find outside. There are a lot of protective items that stop particular kinds of attacks up to 5 times. You can also buy a meal that you can eat when your life bar runs out, and it will refill your entire life bar. In the secret passages, keep an eye out for the scrolls. They'll increase the maximum size of your life bar. The enemies that you fight only spawn in the overworld, and everyone except the maiden is a bad guy out there. So don't feel bad shooting at these guys, they're pickpockets. And he's an evil merchant. Just don't shoot the maidens, you'll lose a lot of money when that happens. There are also hidden items that will appear if you jump in the correct spot. Those are only worth points. Probably the worst aspect of Ganbare Goemon is the platforming. The edges aren't well defined for places, and the movement between some of the platforms can be a bit tricky. It's especially bad on these stages where just walking toward the bottom of the screen can cause you to fall off. When you do get a game over, hold down A and B on the game over screen and press start. That'll let you continue from the same stage, though you do lose half your cash. Ganbare Goemon is an enormous, sprawling game. I played a single game for a full hour while I was recording this, and I only managed to get to level 6. And at that point I just killed myself so I could demonstrate the continue code. It's definitely playable without a guide to tell you where all the hidden passages are, though it definitely can be frustrating to locate them. Even with the problems with platforming, the game still controls pretty well and there's a lot of action to it. It is a solid Famicom game. It's also the worst of the Goemon games. I have a good time with this, but I'd still much rather be playing one of the other ones.